Hello everyone and welcome back to Milo Farms. Well, we had a bit of a problem here on the ride a couple weeks ago. We broke one of the scratchers on the Phazer here, and the Phazer has these scratchers right down here. These are the Stay Cool brand of scratchers, and then this adapter up here on the top is some other brand, but same idea. This right hand one, it's been replaced now, but it broke and caused us to lose the cooling to this Hyfax on the right hand side. So as you can see, it's not totally gone yet, but it definitely has some spots here, and then it built up some burned up plastic on the edges right here. So today we're going to go ahead and replace the Hyfax on this machine. So these are the ones we picked up right here. There's a pair of them, and these are the genuine Yamaha ones. These fit a lot of different machines, and you can go ahead and just cut them to whatever length you have. There's lots of options out there. Different brands. There's graphite ones, there's OEM ones, there's all kinds of aftermarket ones. I've always found, for me at least, that I have the best luck with longevity and with them being able to fit correctly through the track windows using the OEM ones. And for the price and everything, it's really not a big deal. They don't cost that much more than any of the others. So the first thing we're going to do with this project, and I always like to do, is go ahead and spray them down with some kind of light lubricant, something to make them a little slippery on the sled. So I'm going to go ahead and spray them down with just some WD-40 because that's what I have around here for that. Next thing we're going to do is come back to the back of the track right here and find these two adjustment bolts right here and right here. We're going to go ahead and back those out until the tip of the bolt is flush with the nut, and we're going to count how many turns that is. We went ahead and loosened them both 4 turns. And now we're going to take this wrench here and loosen the axle nut. And you can see the tension just dropped off of the track right there. Next thing we're going to do is go down here on the floor. Easiest thing is to lay down next to it. And right here under the front of the track, you'll see this screw right there. So you're going to go ahead and take that out. If they've never been out before, that can be kind of a challenge. So now what I'd recommend is you take a screwdriver and position it somehow so it's pointed into that tip of the Hyfax right there. Then we're going to go ahead and pound on it a little bit to see if we can get it to move. So there we go. As you can see, got it to scoot a little bit. Hyfax are one of those things that if you don't replace them every couple of years, I'd recommend at least taking them off and cleaning under them, because they get some corrosion on that aluminum and then they just lock themselves in place and they don't come off near this easy. So we'll just keep going ahead and scooting that back little by little, and then we'll go back to the back of the track and see where we're at. Now that we've got it scooted back a little bit more, we'll come back here and take a look. And there it is right there. You can see it scooting out through the track window. That's where it comes into play that it's important to have the correct width on your Hyfax to be able to get it out through the track window. These Phazers have extra large windows and have all the windows open, where some other machines have smaller windows. But these are pretty easy to get out with the OEM Hyfax. So go ahead and grab that with a pair of pliers and pull it out. So here you go, right here is a prime example of a melted Hyfax. So you can see up here on the front how much room we have before that groove. And as you get down here further and further, you can see we've got less. As we get further and further down, then it gets a little more in the middle. And then right in here we have less. You could still take this all the way down to where that line is. But the issue we also have is here, look at the back. You can see where it's actually melted and then temporarily liquefied in this area right here. So we're going to go ahead and just replace this and get it put back together. So we went ahead and cut about this much off the end of the Hyfax. So that makes it the same length as the old one we took off. Then we also beveled the end just like this one is here. I always use like a hoof rasp or something to do that with, but if you had a file or grinder or something, you just got to make it angled in case you go into reverse. and also to smooth it where it starts to go around that wheel in the back. So now we'll go ahead and do the reverse of the process by pushing it in from the back. So what we want to do is make sure the end with the hole in it is facing forward. We're going to stick it right here in the track window. And sometimes you've got to move the track just a little bit to get it to line up. Like that. Slide that right in. Then remember, you saved your piece that you came off the end when you cut it. So we'll go ahead and drive it in just a little bit here. Use our piece of scrap. Just keep sliding that right in. Just like that. And then when you get down to the end here, and then when you get down in there, you just don't want to get too carried away that you drive it all the way through the other end and break something. And you'll hear the sound change right when it hits the other end. So let's go take a look. There you can see right there, we've reached the end. Looks like we might have pounded on that just a little bit too much, but let's see how the hole lines up. And there it is right there. You can see the hole just about lines up perfect. So we'll go ahead and put the screw back. So the last thing we want to do is go ahead and tighten up the track and check all the tension. Remember we loosened the track 4 turns on each side. So I always start out exactly at 0, and I call 0 when the tip of this bolt and the nut are flush with each other on both sides. That's as close as you can really get it to even. And then I always tighten them individually to the same specification, 4 turns, 3 turns, whatever it might be. I don't ever make them individual from each other as in a different adjustment. As long as nothing's bent, everything fits perfect that way. So we're going to go ahead and tighten these 4 turns. And I always like to use a flex handle wrench so I can keep track. If I always start tightening, for example, with it pointed down, I go all the way around 1 turn, I know that's where I'm at. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten those 4 turns and check the track tension. Okay, got them tightened back up to the 4. That seems like pretty good tension. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten this nut up right here, and you'll need a backup wrench on the other side. So that is it. That's all there is to it. Pretty simple, straightforward. Same process on the other side. I didn't show that just because we wanted to get it back together and in the video and keep the video short. So we'll be out this weekend. It's going to be the first weekend in March. That's going to be our last trip of the year because we need to get in on the farm stuff. So this is probably going to be the last snowmobile video of the year unless we have something of substance while we're out on our trip. And then we're going to move on to summertime farm videos, car videos, and so on. So hope everybody enjoyed the wintertime snowmobile videos. Please hit the bell icon in the lower right-hand corner to be notified if we have more videos. And remember, you can't finish a project without getting started.